I'm Gisela here again with Peter.
Hello.
So we are going to be talking about
Taco Bell?
Taco Bell and the rise of branded experiential experiences. That sounds like a weird phrase. Branded experiences. So last month I was flooded by like a whole bunch of articles about the Bell, which is the Taco Bell hotel in Palm Springs.
Did you go?
I wish I could have gone.
Would you have?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I would have for the Instagram experience, you know? But anyways, the reservations sold out in 2 minutes when they launched in June. And recently I read a whole bunch of articles about that the influencers who went, they were writing about their whole weekend at the Bell. So all the decor was very Taco Bell themed. It was a very Instagrammable design of the hotel. Really very cute branded towels and floaties. And people got the Taco Bell logo shaved into their head, which is kind of crazy to me. Would you have done that, Peter?
I probably have Taco Bell maybe once every 2 months.
So, yes?
So let's put it this way. I'm not a fast food person, but
Okay.
I'm fascinated by the idea of like these brands. I mean, but not every brand can work. I'm actually very surprised Taco Bell did this.
Really?
Quite honestly. I mean, I can imagine like in my mind, okay, if I would close my eyes and dreamed up what a Apple hotel would look like, I could probably imagine what that would look like.
Okay.
If I had to dream up what a Nike hotel experience would look like, I could totally see that.
Okay.
Even a Starbucks hotel experience, I could kind of see that.
Sure.
A lot of caffeine. But they also have food now these days, right? Good music, so on. But if you really asked me out of the blue, just said, look, Taco Bell's having a hotel.
Yeah.
A lot of nightmarish things would actually pop into my mind, right?
Okay.
It's like a I don't know, swimming pool made of hot sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Or just like, I don't know, taco shells all over the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because, quite frankly, some of their restaurants are not always consistently clean. So I would imagine that maybe their hotel looks like one of their restaurants, right? It's just, I don't know. And everything's just really fast.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely.
And so I had no idea what it was in for.
Right.
But I have to tell you, after reading up to it, I didn't go either, right? But so you told me about this, so I had to research it a little bit. So, but after looking into this, I was actually pretty impressed about what they were able to pull off. I mean, I think we in our show notes we'll have a link to some I believe a correspondent that actually had that experience, and you'll see some of the stuff that they did. But I guess what we want to talk about is not just dedicated to Taco Bell, but it's also about like how this stuff works, right? And why it's effective, right? Why a company like Taco Bell pulled it off successfully, and why if you don't do it right, it can become one of my nightmarish dreams.
So I guess my first question to you is, why do you think these branded experiences are so popular? So off the top of my head, I can think of, not just the Taco Bell hotel, but South by Southwest, for example, which is like the giant, epitome of all of these brand experiences. So why do you think all these brands are kind of trying to get into this brand experiences?
I think it goes back to a theme that we'll talk about a lot in our podcast, right? Which is attention and trust, right? So these two things are like the themes in marketing these days. How do you do it better? How do you earn trust? How do you get attention? And also the reality of the kind of lifestyle we're living in. You use the word Instagrammable. That's probably not even a real word. It probably is now, but it's become part of our vernacular, so it must be real, right? It's our culture now, so everything has to be perfectly shareable.
Right.
So I do think more and more brands are basically keen up on that, but. But let's pause a little bit, right? But experiential marketing is not a recent thing. People have been doing experiential marketing or brand, kind of partnerships for a long time, right? But I think the longevity of that actually works really well. You go to a theme park, you go to like Six Flags, you see these roller coasters being named after superheroes. I mean, that's kind of it, kind of a branded experience in a small way, right? But these things make a lot of sense if you're a fan of the character. Like for me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I should have worn my Star Wars t-shirt today. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I cannot wait to go to Disney and experience the Star Wars experience, the Millennium Falcon. Imagine walking into that. I'm going to geek out, I'm going to tell you. you. So it works. I mean, it's a visceral, emotional feeling when you walk into something like that you're passionate about. So I imagine someone's like really into Taco Bell, they would have had a great time,
right?
And wanted to spend money on on merch and doing, like what you say, someone buzzed their hair with the bell. That's crazy, right? But that's also why. For example, a brand like Harley Davidson, you guys actually have people tattooing a corporate logo on your pecs to show off your loyalty to a brand.
Right.
Very few brands can actually achieve that type of loyalty, right? So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and what do you think made this Taco Bell hotel so successful? So I guess it's not just the brand loyalty and the trust, but it's also the fact that it was a pop-up limited experience, and there was all that media added value too. Can you talk a little bit about what are the components of this being successful?
Well, I've done a few experiential stuff with other clients we've had before, and I think the magic is actually just a lot of hard work, right? I mean, you walk into it, you feel like it's magical, but when I saw the video of this correspondent reporting on the Taco Bell, the Bell Hotel, and then I realized in my mind, I was processing like, oh my God, that's so much work put into it. The logistics, the design, the creative direction, the producers, the executive chef, even his name sounded really, really Michelin fancy. Right. So it was pretty cool. But no, I think what separated the Bell and what made it successful was really a great team effort. So if you look into the details, right, it's not over the top. Right, it's not overtly like I'm gonna stuff Taco Bell in your face. They actually did it in a way where it was very much lifestyle oriented. They didn't want to like over the top push the product in your face, because you already know you're going in there, right? That authenticity, it's an overused word, but it had to be there. It can't be overly selling, because you're already paying money to go experience this, right? You don't need to be sold again. You're already sold on it, right? So I thought that was a nice balance. So I think that's one of the key. Don't try too hard, right? Be authentic about it, and also give people surprise and delight, right? There was always something pretty delightful about it. I mean, one thing that caught my eye was they have these, the big thing was these, Taco Bell, these salsa packs, right? Fire and hot sauce. So they made so many things out of that packet. I thought that was pretty nice. Like they had a hot packet of yoga mats, right?
Oh, wow.
So, and the joke was, is that considered hot yoga? Not very funny, but it was there, and so I thought that was pretty clever. Right. So again, it goes back down to the production of it, the thought of it, and I think Taco Bell pulled off that right balance of giving people a great experience without overselling them on like the brand itself. Right?
Okay, yeah, definitely. And you mentioned this kind of briefly just now, but branded experiences are like a great way to cement a brand beyond product. Yeah. So I think that the pair of Taco Bell and a hotel, it's so different. It's so interesting. And recently I actually read a news article about Hot Cheetos doing a fashion show. That was also kind of like a weird, I could never have imagined those two things coming together. So do you think that in order to become a true brand that embodies, or a brand that people love, do these brands have to go beyond product and do these kind of crazy things that pair other different industries together? I
don't think there is a formula to it. Right. Okay, as long as you're able to pull off something that delights your core consumer base and your audience, or maybe even get other people to pay more attention to you. Right. I think that's fantastic. I highly encourage that. But I think the lesson with things like this is that you've got to put in the time, and you can't just do a pop-up for the sake of doing a pop-up. You've got to spend the time to really think through what is it that you need to put together. It's like this big choreography, this big production that needs to be put in. And I don't think not every brand can pull it off. But if you're going to do something like this, make sure you put in the effort, make sure you put in the time, hire the right team, hire some of the best people in their field that knows what they're doing, right? And make sure that you do it right. But Hot Cheetos in fashion, really?
Yeah, I think I'll send you a link later.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and when you talk about, put in the hard work, and when you try to do experiential, we don't mean just having a booth at an expo here.
No, yeah, booths and expos are one of the most tried and true things. Everyone does it. I'm sure especially B2B companies, you have booths, and so I do think booths are actually a really good opportunity to try something a little bit more daring. Look, it might cost a little bit more for production, but it doesn't have to be, as long as your thinking is good. Again, don't be like everybody else. We talked about that a lot, right? I think if you're gonna try to earn attention, earn trust, not to pass out the same tchotchkes that everyone's going to put in their bag and they're going to throw away 30 minutes after the show is over, right? It just adds to landfill, so why do it? Today people value experiences more than the physical things, right? Memories are more important, especially with the younger audience. They want something to retain and take away more than just merchandise that will end up in the landfill, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess the main takeaway here from what I'm listening is, just put in the hard work to do experiential in a way that is actually memorable, that actually stands out and makes you want to talk about it with other people. That's how, your brand will get out.
I think that's very key. Look, in these experiential things, why, these marketing companies and marketers are trying to do this stuff. It's just because we're talking about it. Look at the fact that we're talking about Taco Bell. We're talking about the Millennium Falcon. We're talking about all these different experiences. South by Southwest, right? The agency Giant Spoon, shout out to Giant Spoon. They did a remarkable job with their Westworld exhibits and their Blade Runner movie things. And how many times, quantify that for me, how much unpaid media did they get from exposure?
Right.
And the fact that you heard about the Taco Bell right? You also read about it post. We're talking about it now. Everyone who's listening to this is hearing about it, and they may end up going online, taking a look at it. That might actually subconsciously get them into a Taco Bell restaurant. Who knows? But the fact that these things actually have a shelf life, especially in today's digital world, as the shelf life of this stuff, right? If it's done right, has huge shelf life, because nothing's ever erased online anyway. Right? So this stuff is perpetual.
Right. And the funniest thing is, I don't even eat Taco Bell, but now in my brain, Taco Bell is super fun. It's very hip. It's really modern. So now I'm kind of tempted to go eat Taco Bell.
And what I heard recently, this breaking news, right? So this morning, right before we were doing this, I actually, I forgot where exactly, but KFC. Okay, not to copy Taco Bell and do a hotel, but Colonel Sanders is having a video game.
Oh, it's an anime video game. I saw that. That was very funny.
Right. So it's so that's experiential as well, right? So it doesn't again have to be in the physical world, right? The fact that they're willing to, create a video game of sort. I haven't read exactly what they're going to do, but it's creating that type of mobile experience, perhaps, right? It's going to be remarkable. They know their clientele. They know who dines at KFC, right? That core audience that they want to market their brand to. I'll be checking it out. Maybe we'll do a follow-up report.
That's it for this week's show. Thank you, Peter, for talking with me today. We want to thank Sparko for sponsoring our podcast. Sparko is a brand new marketing agency, which you can check out at sparko.com. The link is in the description below. So if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a comment, whether it's about whether you would have stayed at the Bell or other branded experiences that you've heard of, or just what you want to hear us talk about next time. And also be sure to click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And next week, we'll be talking about nostalgia, the rise of nostalgia. Why are the early 90s things coming back in popularity? 80s as well, and early 2000s. So a lot of exciting topics. We'll catch you next time.